Hello, my name's Dan. And this is my first time leaving the UK.
Going back to the start, before you went travelling, talk about kind of your life leading up to the whole trip.
Well, life is pretty dull, to be honest. Life is pretty boring. I didn't really get up too much, just kind of worked by the bar. Yeah, there's not a lot to say really.
So obviously you hadn't left the UK before last September when we decided to go travelling through Europe. Was there any kind of driver behind this, or was there any kind of reasons you're aware of that this kind of didn't happen before?
No, just, I mean, when I was a kid, just the opportunity wasn't really there. And then as I got older, it's just, I wasn't really in the frame of mind, you know, when I was a teenager, or just wasn't in the frame of mind to leave or do anything.
Like, so obviously when we came up with the idea to go travelling, initially it was just myself and Connor that were going to be going, and we kind of floated the idea to yourself, and initially you weren't going to go. What were your thoughts when we approached you?
To be honest, I didn't think it was something I would enjoy. I didn't think it would be for me, but at 26, I didn't really have anything holding me here, you know, holding me back in Glasgow, so I thought, yeah, why not, just try it. I was quite hesitant to leave and to come travelling because back home in particular, I'm quite, I wouldn't say antisocial, but I'm unsociable and I kind of keep to myself, and I'm a bit of a loner, to be honest. And obviously travelling, you meet a lot of people and you kind of have to be the opposite of who I am. So that's why I was hesitant at first, but I thought, you know, you should try new things, and yeah, so I went for it.
So then how did it feel when you actually did commit and you told us you were going to go? Was there a lot of kind of apprehension behind that?
No, so when I committed to going and when I told you both I would definitely come, it felt a bit freeing actually. I felt like I could kind of prepare myself for it and kind of focus, and yeah, I was looking forward to it.
Well, what kind of things did you do to prepare? Obviously both kind of mentally for you, but also physically in terms of actually getting ready to go on the trip.
Well, I had to get a passport first of all because I hadn't been, as we've said, I hadn't been abroad ever. So I got myself a passport, which I just bought, you know, travelling gear, bags, equipment, etc. And then mentally, I didn't really have to do anything. I just kind of told myself, enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, well, at least you've tried it.
Did you ever have any kind of second thoughts throughout the period after saying that you would come with us?
No, not for 1 second. I knew instantly when I committed that this is something I should do, and I did not have any second thoughts. Going out there, I was kind of hoping to gain some life experience, experience new things, see some sights, meet some people, and honestly, overall, just happiness. I wanted to be a bit happier. I thought this might be the way to do it.
Do you think as well it was maybe kind of a bit of a break from your normal routine that you would kind of had built up over the time you've been in Glasgow?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, it was nice. It was nice to kind of change it up and do something a bit different, and yeah, as you say, get out of that routine.
How did it feel when you first arrived in London and the first kind of steps of the trip began?
So when we arrived in London, yeah, it was very exciting because it felt very real. It felt like this is happening. You know, we got a very early train, I think, the morning after. So yeah, it felt real.
On the train, and then once we finally arrived in Rotterdam, how did it feel being in completely new surroundings to what you're used to, and what was going through your mind at that point?
Honestly, when we arrived in Rotterdam, you know, it was my first time outside the UK, I was I got a bit emotional actually. It felt like it was the beginning of a long journey, and yeah, it felt amazing, and I was really glad that I'd been pushed to do it.
Was it what you expected, or were you expecting anything different, or did you expect to feel different even?
Well, no, I didn't really have expectations. I just thought I'll kind of wait and see. I'll see how it feels.
What do you think in that first week or two that we were there? What were some of the challenges that you faced?
The only thing was adjusting to travelling, adjusting to being in a new place. Like, not constantly, but you're kind of going somewhere every day. Whereas back home, I'm quite chilled out. I like a few days of doing nothing. Early on, I would say I didn't have an approach to travel. I didn't have any ideas. I was sticking with the group. I thought I would go with the group. I would see how it is, and it was just a bit of a. It was so new. So I thought, like, I was just happy to be there. Really, I didn't really have any ideas. But as I kind of got on, I learned to take like a few days to myself. Like you don't have to. It doesn't have to be a million miles an hour, or you don't need to do things that you don't feel like doing for the sake of it. Just to take your own time and go at your pace.
It was probably around about this part of the trip where you decided that you would go off on your own. When we went to Denmark, we went to your own place, and it ended up that we all kind of done that just to take a little bit of time on our own. What was your kind of motivation behind that?
Well, when I went off on my own, that was around a week in, I think, and I just thought it was something I should try. I thought it'd be good to get a bit of space from the boys, and just to go try it myself, see if I could meet people and see if I could cope alone. And yeah, it was one of my favourite days of the whole trip. It was amazing.
How were your emotions when you left us for the first time and you were officially on your own in a completely new continent for the first time in your life?
Yes, when I left, and I think I waved goodbye to you on the train actually, I remember thinking, right, this is it now, like, it's sink or swim, let's go see if this is for you. I definitely found that I adapted quite quickly. I was quite happy solo travelling, staying in hostels, meeting new people. I found that I was outside my comfort zone quite a lot, but it was good for me, and I definitely adapted.
Was there any specific skills or strengths that you relied on to overcome these kind of different environment changes at that point?
Honestly, I just gained a bit of self-confidence, and I stopped caring too. I stopped, obviously back home you kind of, like back home I keep to myself and I care a bit more, but when you're travelling, some of these people you won't meet ever again, so just have fun. Yeah. So I remember I got a bus to Andorra around the time of my birthday, and I remember I was just totally alone. The rest of the boys were so far away, and I was in a country that's like, I didn't have any Wi-Fi or any data or anything, so I was kind of on my own, having to rely on like the locals to like get me about and stuff. And I remember being there, and on my birthday I climbed like the highest peak in Andorra with no gear, with like one bottle of water, and I felt it's because I don't celebrate my birthday ever, so I thought I'll do something special for my birthday because it's like a special thing, and I climbed it, and then I sat at the top, and I was like, yeah, this is like my favourite time. I don't want to go home ever.
To someone that's just about to go travelling, what kind of tips would you give them to get to that stage and to finally settle in?
Remember to enjoy it. It's the simple one. Don't overthink things. Don't panic. If you're not enjoying it, change it.
Were there any times that you did struggle and you really did think, oh, I want to go home, this isn't for me?
So there wasn't ever a time where I felt I wanted to go home, but yeah, I mean, I was away for 5 months, so there was ups and downs. Yeah, I think nothing really springs to mind in particular, but there were times where I was in hostels and I was struggling to meet people and I was feeling a bit like my old self, a bit antisocial, like a bit kind of not wanting to speak to people. And then, you know, I just had to get out the funk, and I had to, you know, I had to apply myself and, you know, just kind of go for it. Well, when I would get into those funks, I would give myself a day and I would say, sleep it off, try again tomorrow. And usually I felt better, and I kind of reminded myself what I'm doing, what I'm out travelling, like, enjoy it. Yeah, I think if I went back out for a long time, I think one thing I would do definitely would be I would stay in one place a bit longer. Because I hadn't been out ever, I wanted to see a lot. I wanted to go to a lot of countries and experience a lot of countries, and I think now that I've got that experience, I think I would stay in one place a lot longer, learn it a bit better. You meet people easier in hostels if you're there longer. So yeah, I think I would do it that way.
Again, quite early on, you separated from the group to go visit your mum and give her a bit of a surprise in Spain, which involved, you know, a lot of like very fast-paced travelling to get from, I believe we would have been in Sweden at the time, and you kind of made a bit of a beeline straight to Spain, whilst we were kind of going down the east coast of Europe. How was that period for you?
Yeah, so when I went to see my mum in Spain, actually, it was fast paced. It was very quick, and the trains, the long train rides were a bit grueling. But I was solo. I was out of my comfort zone, but I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed being alone for an extended period of time, and I met a lot of cool people on that route. And yeah, it was tiring, and it's not something I would do again. But yeah, it was fun, and it was scary. It was fun overall.
Out of your travelling through Europe, what would you say is your kind of highlight moment?
Oh, it's hard to pick one particular moment which I thought was the best. I have so many. I think it wouldn't be the peak because it was so early on, but the first day in Denmark alone, that was magical. I think, again, I've mentioned it previously, but Andorra, that was very cool. Even towards the end, even the last few places, I think, from Greece to Italy to Switzerland to Belgium was like a really good, like a really special month-long like stretch of time. Yeah.
Do you have any kind of your favourite countries that you think that are pretty underrated that people should give a chance in Europe? Obviously, there's a lot of popular ones that people go visit a lot.
Yeah, underrated. I think I would maybe go to definitely Estonia. Estonia, I would go back 100%. And also on the faces of people going by, I see friends shaking hands, saying, "How do you do?" People really say, "I love you." I hear them babies cry. I watch them grow, build all of my smoke that I'll never do. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. What a wonderful world. What a wonderful world. What a wonderful world. I don't know if it's underrated as such, but Slovenia is very cool. I think the Balkans in general are quite underrated. And Andorra too.
When you're out in a country, especially on your own, how did you find things to do and to see? What was your kind of technique for doing that and actually getting to experience the country authentically?
In terms of the things to do, I would ask hostel staff or people in the hostel, and failing that, Google. Yeah, you find things out on the internet. So yeah.
You often talk to a lot of locals pretty openly, just in the street, asking them questions. What was the kind of moment where you kind of realised how possible that is and not to be kind of worried or not get in your own head about it and just really go out there and ask the question to people that, you know, live there and know the most about the place?
I think one day I did Google it and I couldn't find the answer. So I thought, if Google doesn't know the answer, maybe someone on the street will. So I had to ask them, and then from then on I could just speak to anyone on the street.
Do you think that helped you a lot?
Yes, it helped me. It helped me gain a bit of confidence. If you can speak to a stranger, do you know what I mean? You can speak to anyone.
So after we went through Europe, myself and Reese went home, but you and Connor decided that you were going to go on to Morocco. What was it that kind of influenced you to do that rather than, you know, go home that was initially planned?
Yeah, so when Connor and myself, we planned to go to Morocco. It was something I wanted to do during Europe, but because of our train ticket, it would have been a waste. It wouldn't have made sense to go to Morocco and then waste days on a train ticket. So then I thought, if I'm going to go, the best time is when the train ticket expires. And then it's kind of the question of, I've enjoyed my 3 months, the option is go home or go to Morocco. So the choice was easy.
Emotionally, what were you thinking at that point? Was that, you know, the end of a Euro trip? Was that the beginning of a Moroccan trip? Or was that a completely still your own travelling?
It was a bit of both. It was the middle ground because it was saying goodbye to you, obviously, saying goodbye to Reese. Yous were going home. So that was like quite sad, and it felt like the end of a long journey. But then Connor was coming with me to Morocco, and I was meeting other people in Morocco. So yeah, it felt like the beginning of something really fun.
How was it when you first arrived in Morocco, when it was a completely new environment, like a new environment again, and it's just a new culture and way of living there?
That was a strange one. That was something I wasn't prepared for. So I didn't do enough research going to Morocco. Yeah, it was just a total culture shock, and I arrived quite late at night and I didn't know where I was going, but I found it eventually, and then you spend the first few days acclimatising yourself, but then when you get there, it's amazing.
Talk us through some of the kind of reasons why you think people should visit Morocco, because I know it's a place that you really enjoyed.
I think, so the main reasons to visit Morocco, especially from the UK, the weather is just constantly unbelievable, and it just lifts up your mood every day. The people, they're so hospitable, they're very friendly, like they want to help you, they want you to have a good time. The food's amazing, and the food's is great, and it's like, especially compared to the UK, it's cheap as well, so you can kind of, your pound goes a lot further in Morocco, and yeah, like the culture there, they're just, the people are just amazing. So for example, in Morocco, what I would like to do is I would hitchhike from place to place, because it's a bit of adventure, it's fun. And so they would not only pick you up, but then if they weren't taking you to where you're going, they would take you part of the way to their small town and say, if you can't leave this town, here's my phone number, text me or phone me and you can come to my house and stay and we can eat food. So like, I don't know where else you get that. Nowhere I've been anyway.
How did Morocco compare to Europe? What was something that was really stood out to you?
To put it into words, it's just a lot more laid back. It's just a laid back country. It's for tourists in particular. It's there's no hassle, there's no stress. You just exist. It's a great time.
Did you have a kind of favourite moment in Morocco?
It's hard to pick one in particular, one that springs to mind. So a group of us went to a kind of canyon place called Paradise Valley, and for a bit of background, I can't swim, but there's like cliffs you can jump off into water, and a few of our friends were doing it, and then I thought, even though I can't swim, I thought, I'll just jump in, because the height won't kill me, it's the drowning that will kill me. So I asked people in the water if they would pull me out of the water because I can't swim, and one of them happened to be a lifeguard, so she said she would, so I jumped in, and I overcame my fears that day, so that was amazing. 1, 2, 3, cut!
Woo!
So when I jumped in, I don't remember jumping. I don't remember a lot of it. I remember being in the water. I remember being under the water, and I remember being pulled out. But I don't remember a lot. I remember having a headache the whole rest of the day. That was it. But it was amazing.
Oi. Wake up.
Do you think that almost compares to the whole travelling experience, like a lot of anxiety before going and not knowing if you'd be able to do it or not, but then just making that one leap and before you know it, you're having the time of your life and absolutely loving it?
But yeah, you could say coming out and travelling was like preparation almost for that moment. You could say, yeah, it kind of gave me the confidence.
Do you think yourself a year ago could do something like that?
A year ago, no, absolutely not. A year ago I would not have jumped. I wouldn't even thought of jumping in.
So obviously you spent your time in Morocco and then you and Connor then decided it was time to come home back to Glasgow. What was your kind of motivation behind that?
So it was just kind of, we were getting to that point, it was almost time to come home. You know, the money was kind of running out too, we'd been out for a long time, and it just seemed like, you know, we've got to go home eventually, why not now?
How did you feel on that run up to, you know, the last couple of days you were in Morocco, knowing that you're going to go home?
Yeah, once the flight was actually booked, and like it was set in stone that we were coming home, I was a bit emotional. I was saying goodbye to a lot of friends, and I would reminisce a lot about Morocco on the lead up.
What was it like when you finally arrived back in Glasgow after everything you've been through, and you're just kind of back to what seemed like in normality before then?
Yeah, touching down in Glasgow was a bit strange. It was a bit strange walking the streets. We walked home. It was a little bit. It was nice. It felt kind of nice to be home actually. You know, see friends and family. But yeah, I was ready. I've been bit by the bug, the travel bug, so I'm ready to get back out.
How did your perspective on your old routine change after your journey?
Yeah, it did. The perspective of how I lived before come travelling, yeah, it changed a lot. It's not something I'll ever do again, live like that.
In what way?
I'm just going to go out and enjoy my life more, basically. Being back in Glasgow and staying there for an extended period of time, you do need to adjust to it. Yeah, and it takes a wee while, and you find yourself just a bit bored, really, and you kind of miss all your friends that you've met travelling, and you try to keep in touch, and but yeah, I'd say that, and the weather as well.
If you could talk to yourself, 6 months ago, where you were initially not going to be going travelling and you didn't think you were going to be able to even do it as such, what would you say to yourself then?
Just wait and see. Go out, wait and see.
How do you think your beliefs, your values, your outlook on life has shifted because of this journey?
Yeah, I'm a lot more positive now. I think more positively about life in general now.
So you said before that you wanted to achieve a bit of happiness and gain some life experience travelling. Do you think you accomplished that?
I would say I accomplished those goals in spades, yes.
Looking back, what do you think are some lasting impacts that are going to be in your life and future decisions going forward?
I think going forward now, I think I'll be travelling a lot more. I think in general, I'm just a lot happier. I'm so happy about it.
And now, what is your future plans going to look like now for, the next year or so?
So, what is currently set in stone is India. I'll be going to India in 2 weeks, and Sri Lanka as well. And then from then on, I would like to see Germany again in June, and I'd like to, and then at the end of this year, go back to Morocco, because it's just a great time.
Well, thanks very much. I think that's the end of the interview. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.